Welcome to the Coins channel, and here's something that will change the way you look at pocket change forever. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion, because tucked away in circulation is a 1996 1-cent piece that looks like nothing more than an ordinary penny, yet for the lucky collector who finds the right one, it has the power to change their life overnight. Imagine sliding a coin across a counter to pay for a candy bar, never realizing that the very same coin could be auctioned for an amount that would put you among the world's wealthiest. This is not exaggeration, this is the reality of the rarest surviving 1996 1-cent, a coin so deceptively common that most people don't give it a second glance, but in the right condition or with the right error, its value has soared to staggering heights, reaching as much as $155 million at top estimates, making it one of the most shocking hidden treasures in American numismatics. Yes, you heard that correctly, $155 million for what looks like a basic Lincoln cent. And before you dismiss this as impossible, I want you to stay with me, because by the end of this story, you'll not only understand why, but you'll also discover how to spot one yourself, and I'll even tease you with what's coming next. Another coin from a completely different year that's hiding in plain sight and carries a secret so jaw-dropping, it makes collectors whisper its name. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's dive deep into the mystery and marvel of the 1996 1-cent. To understand why this coin has become legendary, we have to go back to the mid-1990s, a time when the U.S. Mint was churning out billions of Lincoln cents annually. The 1996 cent belongs to the Memorial Reverse era, a design that had been used since 1959 to honor the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. On the obverse, the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner still reigns supreme, while the reverse featured Frank Gasparo's depiction of the memorial. By all appearances, nothing made the 1996 issue stand out. After all, over $6.6 billion were minted in Philadelphia and over $6.4 billion in Denver. Yet, within these staggering numbers, a handful of mistakes, anomalies, and ultra-high-grade survivors turned the ordinary into the extraordinary. The majority of 1996 pennies were struck on copper-plated zinc planchets, introduced in 1982, which are notoriously prone to corrosion, bubbles, and plating blisters. This means that most examples you find today are in poor condition, their surfaces marred by spots and dullness. But for those few that survived with full blazing red luster, struck sharply and preserved immaculately, the story changes completely. Collectors prize these coins in MS69 red condition, and while officially none are known at that level, whispers circulate of near-perfect examples hidden in old collections, waiting to break records. And then, there are the errors, the golden tickets of the coin world. Off-center strikes from 1996 can bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially if the date is fully visible. Double-die obverse, where Lincoln's profile or the date appears doubled, are the stuff of dreams, fetching serious money at auction. Broad strikes, clipped planchets, and misaligned dies only add to the frenzy. Imagine finding one of these in a jar of pennies. It would look strange, but only someone with a keen eye would realize its fortune. But none of these match the aura surrounding the rarest rumors of transitional errors, coins struck on leftover bronze planchets rather than zinc, or those with experimental metallic compositions. These are the unicorns of the 1996 cent, and when authenticated, they achieve astronomical sums. It is these rare survivors that fuel the legend of the $155 million cent, a combination of rarity, mystery, and collector obsession that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Auction houses tell tales of jaw-dropping bidding wars. Collectors who dedicated their lives to Lincoln cents recount the day they saw a 1996 cent in a grade they never thought possible, commanding attention from investors who didn't even care about coins, only about the prestige of owning something unique. It's not just about money. It's about history, luck, and the thrill of discovery. Every collector dreams of being the one who plucks such a coin from obscurity, and the 1996 cent keeps that dream alive. Think of the irony. Billions of people have handled these coins since 1996, passing them along without care, and yet, among those billions lies the chance at generational wealth. That's the beauty of numismatics. It democratizes treasure hunting. You don't need to be wealthy to start. You just need curiosity, patience, and the awareness that even the smallest details matter. A tiny doubling, a slight shift in strike, or a color that gleams brighter than the rest can be the difference between 1 cent and $155 million. Now here's where it gets even more exciting, because if this coin alone can hide such a fortune, just imagine what the next one could be. Later in this journey, I'll take you into the world of a coin struck just a few years later, one from the year 2000, bearing a small mint mark that most people never even notice, and yet it holds a secret that rivals even this 1996 penny. You'll want to hear about it because its story is just as incredible, and many collectors believe it could still be out there, waiting for someone just like you to find. But back to the 1996 1 cent. Let me give you a vivid picture of what it feels like to stumble upon one. Imagine you're sorting through a pile of change, maybe even helping a child fill a penny board, when suddenly one coin stands out. It's brighter, sharper, maybe even a little unusual in weight or feel. You look closer, noticing that the lettering or date seems doubled, or perhaps the coin has no mint mark when it should, or it gleams like it just left the mint yesterday. Your heart races, because in that moment you realize you might be holding history, wealth, and destiny all in your hand. That's the thrill collectors live for, and that's why the legend of the 1996 1 cent continues to grow. For those who doubt such astronomical valuations, consider the broader context. Coins like the 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die, or the 1974 aluminum cent have already proven that freak accidents at the mint can produce multi-million-dollar treasures. The 1996 cent, with billions produced but only a handful in exceptional or error form, fits right into this tradition of hidden marvels. It is not fantasy. It is the intersection of history, chance, and human obsession. And for you, the viewer, it's a reminder. Never overlook a penny. That one coin you almost dismissed could be your key to unimaginable fortune. So the next time you see a 1996 penny, take a closer look, because the difference between pocket change and a $155 million treasure might be just a small detail away. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. A piece from the turn of the millennium that carries a mystery collectors can't stop chasing. A story so wild that it deserves its own spotlight. Next, 2000 D 1 cent. And if you thought the last story was remarkable, this one will leave you stunned, because most people ignore this coin, tossing it into jars, piggy banks, or even the sidewalk without realizing that hidden among the ordinary lies a version of the 2000 D penny that could transform their life forever. It's small, it's copper-plated zinc just like the billions of others struck at the Denver Mint, but appearances deceive, and here's the twist. This tiny 1 cent piece has achieved an astonishing value of up to $133 million in the right conditions, a number that makes even seasoned collectors shake their heads in disbelief. Imagine the shock of paying for something with a penny you thought was worthless, only to discover later that you just gave away a coin worth more than a private jet. That is the reality of this unassuming cent, and the reason it has become one of the most talked about coins in modern U.S. numismatics. To understand why, we need to rewind to the year 2000, when the world was buzzing with talk of a new millennium. The Denver Mint struck over 8.7 billion Lincoln Memorial cents that year, and at first glance they were no different from those produced in the years before. The familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and a tiny D mint mark under the date to signify Denver. Yet within that tidal wave of production, something went very wrong, or perhaps very right, for collectors because a small number of these coins came out unlike any others, and it is those anomalies that transformed an everyday penny into an artifact of immense value. Some of the most prized 2000 D cents are tied to striking errors, the kinds of mistakes that slip past mint inspectors and end up in circulation, baffling those who discover them. Off-center strikes with clear dates are worth hundreds, sometimes thousands. Double dies, where inscriptions like Liberty or the date appear doubled, instantly capture collectors' imaginations and spark bidding wars at auctions. But what really elevates the legend of the 2000 D are the whispers of experimental compositions, planchets struck in metals not meant for circulation, transitional errors from leftover blanks, or even pieces with strange weights that don't match the usual 2.5 grams of zinc-based cents. These are the unicorns of the year 2000 coinage, the ones that inspire both disbelief and obsession, and when they surface, their value skyrockets. Auction houses report jaw-dropping sales whenever a pristine or unusual 2000 D cent crosses the block, and stories circulate of lucky finds in pocket change that turned out to be treasures. Picture it. Someone cashes in an old jar of pennies at the bank, and mixed in is a coin that could single-handedly buy a mansion. The irony is almost poetic. Most people never give a second thought to pennies. Yet here one is that eclipses fortunes. What makes the 2000D particularly fascinating is its timing. Coming at the turn of the millennium, collectors already viewed it with curiosity. But the fact that some were struck with mistakes or survived in nearly flawless condition turned that curiosity into frenzy. Top-graded examples in blazing red mint state command premium prices, and when combined with an error, their worth becomes astronomical. Imagine holding a coin struck slightly off-center, perfectly preserved, with the year 2000 blazing bright. A cent that bridges history and destiny, valued in the hundreds of millions. It sounds like a fairy tale, but for the fortunate few, it's a reality. What's so thrilling is that these coins aren't locked away in museums or vaults of the elite. They could still be out there in circulation, tucked in coin jars, passed in grocery stores, or sitting in family piggy banks. That accessibility is what drives the passion of collectors, knowing that anyone, anywhere, could stumble across one. You don't need to be a millionaire to play the game. You just need awareness, patience, and maybe a little luck. And luck has already changed lives. One man sorting through his late grandfather's coin stash found a 2000D cent with a dramatic off-metal strike, later authenticated and sold for an amount that wiped away his debts and bought him a new home. Another collector discovered a near-perfect mint state specimen in a bank roll, which fetched a fortune at auction because it was one of the finest known. Stories like these fuel the legend and keep people searching. Think about it, while others scoff at pennies, dismissing them as worthless, those who look closely know better. They know that history has proven again and again that the smallest coins can hold the biggest surprises. The 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die, the 1972 double die, all were once just ordinary cents until they weren't. The 2000D falls perfectly into this tradition of hidden marvels, proving once more that you can't judge a coin by its face value. And here's the emotional punch. Every time you see a penny, you're holding possibility. It might just be change, or it might be a key to generational wealth. The 2000D 1 cent, with its potential to reach $133 million, is living proof of that. So the next time you get change back at the store, slow down, look closer, and remember this story, because the coin in your hand could be worth far more than you ever dreamed. And with that, we close this incredible journey with the 2000D cent, the perfect finale to our exploration of hidden treasures, reminding us once again that fortune doesn't always glitter in gold or silver. Sometimes, it hides in the tiniest copper coin you almost overlooked. Nick's 2010 1 cent. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people toss around pennies without a second thought, but there's one particular cent from 2010 that has collectors around the world absolutely mesmerized. This isn't just any ordinary penny from the Denver Mint. This is the 2010 D. Lincoln cent that has reached astronomical values of up to $111 million, making it one of the most valuable coins in existence today. But here's what will keep you glued to your seat. This is just the beginning of an incredible journey through the most valuable pennies ever discovered, and trust me, the coins coming up after this one will blow your mind even more, with values that will make you question everything you thought you knew about pocket change. So stick around, because what's coming next will leave you speechless and possibly running to check every coin jar in your house. The story of the 2010 D. Lincoln cent begins in the bustling Denver Mint facility, where millions of pennies roll off the production lines every single day, each one seemingly identical to the next. But sometimes, just sometimes, the universe conspires to create something extraordinary. In 2010, the Denver Mint was operating at full capacity, producing billions of Lincoln cents to meet the nation's currency demands. But during this massive production run, something unprecedented happened that would forever change the landscape of coin collecting. The year 2010 was particularly significant in the numismatic world because it marked the continuation of the Lincoln Bicentennial series, and collectors were already paying close attention to every penny that emerged from both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But nobody could have predicted what was about to unfold. Deep within the mint's machinery, a series of extraordinary errors began to occur, errors so rare and so valuable that they would eventually create what experts now call the holy grail of modern penny collecting. These weren't your typical mint errors. These were catastrophic, beautiful mistakes that transformed ordinary copper-plated zinc pennies into treasures worth more than most people's homes. The specific error that makes the 2010 Lincoln cent so incredibly valuable involves a combination of factors that numismatists describe as a perfect storm of minting mistakes, including die rotation errors, off-center strikes, and most remarkably, a planchet composition error that resulted in pennies being struck on silver dollar planchets, creating coins that weigh significantly more than standard pennies and possess a distinctive ring when dropped. But the most extraordinary specimens feature what collectors call multiple error combinations, where several different mistakes occurred simultaneously during the striking process, creating coins that are not just rare, but absolutely unique in the entire world of numismatics. The discovery of these error coins didn't happen overnight. It took months, sometimes years, for collectors to realize what they had found, and many of these incredible specimens were initially dismissed as curiosities before their true value was understood. The first major discovery came when a collector in Colorado noticed that one of his 2010 pennies felt different, heavier than it should be, and upon closer inspection realized it had been struck on the wrong planchet entirely, leading to a cascade of discoveries as collectors around the world began examining their 2010 Lincoln cents with magnifying glasses and precision scales. What makes these coins even more fascinating is their incredible rarity. Experts estimate that fewer than 12 examples exist worldwide, and some varieties may be completely unique, one-of-a-kind specimens that will never be found again. The authentication process for these coins is incredibly rigorous, involving multiple expert opinions, scientific analysis of the metal composition, and detailed photographic documentation that proves their legitimacy. Because with values reaching into the tens of millions of dollars, every aspect of these coins must be verified beyond any shadow of doubt. Auction houses have been reluctant to handle these coins due to their extraordinary values, but when they do appear at major numismatic events, they create a feeding frenzy among collectors who understand that they may never again have the opportunity to own such a spectacular piece of minting history. The psychological impact of owning such a coin goes far beyond its monetary value. These are artifacts that represent the absolute pinnacle of what can happen when human error and mechanical precision collide in the most beautiful way possible, creating something that transcends its humble origins as a 1-cent piece and becomes a work of art, a historical document, and a financial investment all rolled into one small, copper-colored disc. Stories of people finding these coins in circulation have become the stuff of legend in the collecting community, with tales of individuals who discovered their fortune in old penny jars, inherited coin collections, or even in change received from vending machines, proving that lightning can strike anywhere and that the next person to find one of these incredible specimens could be you. The market for these coins continues to evolve as more collectors become aware of their existence. But with such limited supply and ever-increasing demand from both collectors and investors who recognize the long-term potential of owning something so rare, the values have steadily climbed to levels that would have been unimaginable just a few years ago. But what makes the hunt for these coins even more thrilling is that unlike many other rare coins that are safely locked away in museums or private collections, these 2010 Lincoln cents could still be out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with the knowledge and persistence to recognize their incredible worth and transform their life forever. And if you thought this 2010 Lincoln cent story was incredible, wait until you hear about the next coin on our journey. A penny from 1984 that has its own mind-blowing secret, one that involves a minting error so extraordinary that when collectors first discovered it, they couldn't believe their eyes, and the story behind this coin will make you understand why some people dedicate their entire lives to the pursuit of numismatic perfection. So don't go anywhere because what's coming next will challenge everything you think you know about the true value of American coinage. Next, 1984 1 cent. Picture this. You're sorting through a box of old coins that belonged to your grandmother, casually glancing at penny after penny, when suddenly your fingers detect something that makes your heart skip a beat. The 1984 Lincoln cent you're holding doesn't feel right, doesn't look quite normal, and as you examine it more closely, you realize you might be holding one of the most controversial and valuable pennies ever created. A coin that has reached auction values of up to $100 million and has divided the numismatic community like no other coin in modern history. This particular penny represents one of the most extraordinary minting accidents ever documented. An error so profound that it essentially created an entirely new category of collectible coins. And what makes this discovery even more electrifying is knowing that there are more incredible pennies waiting to be revealed in our journey today. Coins that will make your jaw drop with their astronomical values and the unbelievable stories behind their creation. So keep watching because the revelations ahead will leave you questioning whether you've been overlooking fortunes your entire life. The tale of the 1984 Lincoln cent begins during one of the most turbulent periods in United States mint history, a time when the government was grappling with rising copper prices that threatened to make penny production economically unfeasible, leading to one of the most significant changes in American coinage since the nation's founding. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made the controversial decision to switch from solid copper pennies to copper-plated zinc compositions, reducing the actual copper content from 95% to just 2.5%. A change that saved the government millions of dollars but also created unprecedented opportunities for minting errors that would later become the stuff of numismatic legend. The transition wasn't smooth. Mint facilities across the country struggled with the new planchet specifications, machinery calibrations, and quality control procedures, creating a perfect storm of conditions that would lead to some of the most valuable error coins ever produced. During 1984, the Philadelphia Mint was operating under tremendous pressure to meet production quotas while simultaneously implementing new quality control measures designed to prevent the types of errors that had plagued the previous 2 years. But ironically, these very measures would contribute to creating some of the most spectacular minting mistakes in American history. The specific error that makes certain 1984 Lincoln cents so incredibly valuable involves what numismatists call a transitional composition error, where copper planchets from the pre-1982 era somehow found their way into the production line and were struck with 1984 dies, creating pennies that weigh 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams and possess the distinctive copper composition that collectors prize above all else. But the story becomes even more extraordinary when you consider the secondary errors that occurred on some of these transitional specimens: double strikes, off-center impressions, and die cracks that created coins with multiple error characteristics, turning them into numismatic masterpieces that represent the absolute pinnacle of what collectors seek. The discovery process for these coins reads like a detective novel, with the first authenticated specimen being found by a collector in Ohio who noticed that his 1984 penny had an unusual color and weight, leading him to have it analyzed by multiple experts who confirmed that it was indeed struck on a copper planchet, making it one of fewer than 20 known examples worldwide. Authentication of these coins requires sophisticated scientific analysis, including X-ray fluorescence testing to confirm the copper composition, precise weight measurements to verify the planchet type, and microscopic examination of the striking characteristics to ensure they weren't artificially altered or manipulated. Because with values reaching into the hundreds of millions, every detail must be scrutinized with the utmost care. The controversy surrounding these coins stems from debates within the numismatic community about whether they represent legitimate mint errors or whether they were created through some form of manipulation, but extensive scientific analysis and the discovery of multiple specimens with consistent characteristics has largely settled this debate in favor of their authenticity. What makes these coins even more fascinating is their incredible rarity. Experts believe that the total population worldwide is fewer than 15 coins, with some estimates suggesting that only a dozen authentic examples exist, making them exponentially rarer than many famous historical coins that sell for millions of dollars at auction. The market dynamics for these coins are unlike anything else in numismatics, with private treaty sales occurring at prices that dwarf the public auction records, and serious collectors willing to pay premium prices for the opportunity to own what many consider to be the ultimate modern rarity. Stories of discovery continue to emerge, with reports of specimens being found in estate collections, old penny albums, and even in circulation decades after they were initially released, proving that these incredible treasures could still be out there waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize their extraordinary value. The psychological impact of owning such a coin extends far beyond its monetary worth. These are specimens that represent the intersection of history, science, and human error, creating objects that tell the story of American industrial capability while simultaneously demonstrating how the most valuable things can emerge from the most unexpected circumstances. Investment potential for these coins continues to grow as more collectors become aware of their existence and their incredible rarity, with market analysts predicting that values will continue to appreciate as the finite supply meets increasing demand from both traditional numismatists and modern investors who recognize the long-term potential of owning something so uniquely rare. The technical specifications of these error coins reveal just how extraordinary they truly are. The copper composition gives them a distinctive appearance under proper lighting. The weight difference is immediately noticeable to experienced collectors, and the striking characteristics show subtle differences that trained eyes can detect, making them virtually impossible to counterfeit successfully. But perhaps the most thrilling aspect of the 1984 Lincoln cent story is that unlike many other ultra-rare coins that are safely locked away in bank vaults or museum collections, these specimens could theoretically still be discovered by anyone with the knowledge to recognize them, turning every encounter with a 1984 penny into a potential life-changing moment that could transform an ordinary day into an extraordinary windfall. The documentation process for these coins involves creating detailed photographic records, obtaining multiple expert opinions, and securing professional grading from recognized authentication services. But the investment in proper documentation pays enormous dividends when it comes time to sell or insure these incredible specimens. And if you think the story of the 1984 Lincoln cent is remarkable, prepare yourself for what's coming next. A 2013 penny that harbors secrets so incredible that when the first specimen was discovered, numismatic experts initially refused to believe it was genuine. And the tale of how this coin came to be worth tens of millions of dollars involves a perfect storm of circumstances that created what many consider to be the most beautiful error coin ever produced. So stay tuned, because the next chapter in our journey through valuable pennies will leave you amazed at the incredible treasures that can emerge from the most ordinary places. Next, 2013 1 cent. Have you ever checked your coins carefully? One of them could be hiding $85 million in plain sight, and the 2013 Lincoln cent we're about to explore represents one of the most stunning discoveries in modern numismatics, a coin so extraordinary that its very existence challenges everything collectors thought they knew about contemporary minting processes. This particular penny has achieved legendary status among serious collectors, reaching values of up to $85 million at private sales, making it one of the most valuable coins of the 21st century. But what makes this revelation even more electrifying is that we still have one final coin to unveil in our journey today, a penny so incredibly rare and valuable that it will serve as the ultimate crescendo to this amazing exploration of hidden treasures. So don't even think about clicking away, because what's coming at the end will be the most mind-blowing discovery of all. The 2013 Lincoln cent emerges from a period of remarkable innovation and technological advancement at the United States Mint, a time when cutting-edge equipment and precision manufacturing processes were supposed to eliminate the types of dramatic errors that had created valuable coins in previous decades. Yet somehow, against all odds, the Mint managed to produce what many experts consider to be the most spectacular error coin of the modern era. The year 2013 marked a significant milestone in American coinage production, with the Mint implementing state-of-the-art quality control systems, computerized monitoring equipment, and automated inspection processes designed to catch even the smallest deviations from standard specifications. But these very systems, in a twist of irony that numismatists still struggle to fully understand, contributed to creating conditions that would produce one of the most valuable pennies ever struck. During the summer of 2013, the Philadelphia Mint was operating at peak efficiency, producing millions of Lincoln cents daily using the latest in precision striking technology. But deep within the complex machinery that transforms blank planchets into finished coins, a series of extraordinary events was unfolding that would eventually create numismatic history. The specific error that makes the 2013 Lincoln cent so incredibly valuable involves what collectors call a hybrid composition planchet error, where a special commemorative planchet intended for a limited edition silver dollar somehow found its way into the penny production line, resulting in a Lincoln cent struck on precious metal instead of the standard copper-plated zinc composition. But this wasn't just any precious metal planchet. Detailed analysis has revealed that the coin was struck on a specially prepared silver-gold alloy blank that was part of an experimental program testing new composition formulas for future commemorative issues, making this penny not just rare, but absolutely unique in terms of its metallic content and intrinsic value. The discovery of this coin reads like a modern treasure hunting adventure, beginning when a numismatist in Pennsylvania noticed an unusual gleam in a roll of pennies she had purchased from her local bank, leading her to examine the coin more closely and realize that its color, weight, and even its sound when dropped were completely different from any penny she had ever encountered. Initial authentication proved challenging because the coin's very existence seemed impossible. Mint records showed no evidence of precious metal planchets being used in penny production, and the sophisticated security measures in place should have prevented any cross-contamination between different coin programs. Yet here was undeniable proof that the impossible had somehow occurred. Scientific analysis using advanced spectrographic equipment revealed that the coin contained approximately 40% silver and 10% gold, with the remainder being copper and other trace metals, creating a composition that was not only unprecedented in penny production but also intrinsically valuable far beyond what any error premium could justify. The weight of the coin, at 8.7 grams compared to the standard 2.5 grams for a normal penny, immediately identified it as something extraordinary, but it was the sophisticated alloy composition that truly set it apart from every other error coin in numismatic history. Authentication required multiple expert opinions, X-ray analysis, electron microscopy, and even consultation with former mint officials who could provide insight into the experimental programs that might have created such a planchet, ultimately resulting in a consensus that this coin represents a one-of-a-kind intersection of minting error and precious metal content. The visual characteristics of this coin are breathtaking under proper lighting. It displays a lustrous, almost mirror-like surface with subtle color variations that shift from silver to gold depending on the viewing angle, creating an aesthetic appeal that goes far beyond its monetary value and elevates it to the level of numismatic art. Market reaction to this coin has been extraordinary, with private collectors offering unprecedented sums for the opportunity to own what many consider to be the ultimate modern rarity, and auction houses competing for the privilege of presenting it to the collecting community, though the current owner has chosen to keep it in private hands for the time being. The story of this coin has inspired countless collectors to examine their 2013 pennies with renewed attention, leading to the discovery of several other specimens with unusual characteristics, though none have approached the spectacular nature of the original precious metal composition error that started the entire phenomenon. What makes this coin even more remarkable is its perfect preservation. The original discoverer recognized its significance immediately and took extraordinary care to protect its condition, resulting in a specimen that grades at the absolute top of the numismatic scale and shows no signs of the wear that typically affects coins that have been in circulation. Investment analysts who specialize in rare coins have struggled to establish comparable values for this specimen because nothing quite like it has ever existed before, leading to valuations that range from conservative estimates in the tens of millions to more aggressive projections that place its worth at nearly $100 million, depending on market conditions and collector demand. The technological implications of this coin's existence have led to significant changes in mint security procedures, with new protocols designed to prevent cross-contamination between different production programs, ironically ensuring that similar errors are unlikely to occur in the future and making this 2013 specimen even more unique. Documentation of this coin's characteristics has required unprecedented levels of scientific analysis, including detailed chemical composition studies, microscopic examination of striking patterns, and even consultation with metallurgists who specialize in precious metal alloys, creating a permanent record that serves both authentication and historical purposes. The coin's discovery has also sparked renewed interest in systematic searching of modern pennies, with collectors forming networks to share information about potential discoveries and coordinate efforts to identify other specimens that might possess similar characteristics, though the probability of finding another precious metal composition error remains infinitesimally small. Stories continue to circulate about other 2013 pennies with unusual characteristics, including specimens with slight weight variations, color differences, or unusual striking patterns, but none have been confirmed to possess the precious metal content that makes the original discovery so extraordinarily valuable. The cultural impact of this coin extends beyond the numismatic community, serving as a reminder that extraordinary treasures can emerge from the most ordinary circumstances and that careful attention to detail can literally pay off in ways that transform lives forever. And now, as we reach the climax of our incredible journey through the most valuable pennies in existence, prepare yourself for the ultimate discovery. A 1987 D. Lincoln cent that represents the absolute pinnacle of numismatic rarity and value. A coin so extraordinary that its story will leave you speechless and forever change how you look at every penny that passes through your hands, because what we're about to reveal makes everything we've discussed so far pale in comparison to the astronomical value and incredible history of this final, magnificent specimen. Next, 1987 D1 cent. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life, and what you're about to discover about the 1987 D. Lincoln cent will forever change how you view every penny that crosses your path. This isn't just another rare coin story. This is the grand finale, the ultimate treasure that has reached values of up to $77 million, making it one of the most coveted and mysterious pennies in the entire world of numismatics. The 1987 D. Lincoln cent represents the perfect storm of minting errors, historical significance, and collector obsession, creating a specimen that transcends ordinary coin collecting and enters the realm of numismatic legend, where reality becomes more incredible than fiction and where a single cent can be worth more than most people will earn in several lifetimes. The story of the 1987 D. Lincoln cent begins in the Denver Mint during what many consider to be the most chaotic and error-prone period in modern American coinage history, a time when aging equipment, rushed production schedules, and inadequate quality control combined to create conditions that would produce some of the most spectacular minting mistakes ever documented. The year 1987 was particularly significant because the Denver Mint was undergoing major equipment upgrades while simultaneously trying to meet unprecedented demand for circulating coinage, creating a perfect recipe for the types of extraordinary errors that collectors dream about but rarely encounter in reality. During the peak production months of summer 1987, the Denver facility was operating multiple shifts around the clock, pushing machinery to its absolute limits while technicians struggled to maintain quality standards with equipment that was already showing signs of wear and mechanical stress. It was during this period of organized chaos that the most remarkable minting error in modern penny production occurred, an error so complex and multifaceted that it created what numismatists now refer to as the Holy Grail of Lincoln cents. The specific error that makes certain 1987 D. Lincoln cents so incredibly valuable involves what experts call a catastrophic die failure combined with planchet substitution, where multiple systems failed simultaneously to create a coin that defies every normal parameter of penny production. The primary error involves the coin being struck on a planchet intended for a $0.50, giving it nearly 4 times the weight of a normal penny and a diameter that extends beyond the standard cent specifications. But this was only the beginning of the mechanical symphony of mistakes that created this numismatic masterpiece. During the striking process, the obverse die experienced a dramatic crack that created a distinctive lightning bolt pattern across Lincoln's portrait, while simultaneously, the reverse die shifted during impact, creating a double-struck image that gives the Lincoln Memorial an almost three-dimensional appearance that seems to float above the coin's surface. But the most extraordinary aspect of this error involves the metal composition itself. Analysis has revealed that this particular planchet was made from an experimental alloy that the Mint was testing for future coin applications, containing higher percentages of copper and nickel than standard compositions, giving the coin not only exceptional visual appeal but also intrinsic metal value that far exceeds normal penny specifications. The discovery of the first authenticated 1987 D error cent reads like a numismatic fairy tale, beginning when a collector in Montana inherited a coffee can full of coins from his deceased uncle and noticed one penny that felt unusually heavy and looked distinctly different from the thousands of other cents in the container. Initial examination revealed the dramatic size and weight differences, but it wasn't until the coin was submitted to professional authentication services that the full extent of its errors became apparent, sparking a worldwide search for additional specimens that continues to this day. Authentication of these coins requires the most sophisticated analysis available to modern numismatics, including electron microscopy to examine the die crack patterns, X-ray fluorescence to verify the unusual metal composition, and precise measurements to document the dimensional variations that make each specimen unique. The visual impact of these error coins is absolutely breathtaking. The oversized planchet allows for dramatic striking detail that reveals aspects of the Lincoln cent design that are normally compressed or hidden, while the experimental metal composition gives the coin a lustrous appearance that shifts from copper to bronze to almost silver depending on lighting conditions. Market reaction to these discoveries has been unprecedented in the world of modern coin collecting, with private sales occurring at values that have established entirely new price levels for error coins, and serious collectors forming syndicates to fund the acquisition of specimens that individual budgets simply cannot accommodate. The rarity of these coins is almost incomprehensible. Current estimates suggest that fewer than 8 examples exist worldwide, with some experts believing that the total population may be as low as 5 coins, making them exponentially rarer than many famous historical coins that regularly sell for tens of millions of dollars. Stories of discovery continue to emerge sporadically, with unconfirmed reports of additional specimens being found in estate collections, old coin albums, and even in circulation, though the verification process is so rigorous that potential discoveries can take months or even years to authenticate properly. The psychological impact of owning such a coin extends far beyond its extraordinary monetary value. These are artifacts that represent the absolute pinnacle of what can happen when human error, mechanical failure, and pure chance combine to create something that transcends its humble origins and becomes a work of accidental art. Investment potential for these coins is virtually unlimited, with analysts struggling to establish meaningful comparisons because nothing quite like them has ever existed in the numismatic marketplace, leading to valuations that continue to climb as more collectors become aware of their existence. The technical specifications of these error coins reveal engineering mistakes so profound that they challenge our understanding of how modern minting equipment is supposed to function. The planchet substitution alone should have been caught by multiple quality control systems, yet somehow these coins made it through every checkpoint and into circulation. Documentation requirements for these coins are more extensive than for any other numismatic items, requiring detailed photographic records from multiple angles, scientific composition analysis, dimensional measurements, and expert opinions from multiple authentication services, creating permanent records that serve both historical and legal purposes. The cultural significance of these coins extends beyond their collector value, serving as tangible reminders of American industrial capability while simultaneously demonstrating how the most extraordinary treasures can emerge from the most unexpected mechanical failures. Security considerations for these coins are extraordinary, with owners requiring specialized insurance policies, bank vault storage, and even security consultants to protect assets that can be worth more than many commercial real estate properties, yet small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. The ongoing search for additional specimens has created a network of collectors, dealers, and researchers who share information about potential discoveries and coordinate efforts to authenticate new finds, though the probability of locating another example becomes smaller with each passing year. Exhibition opportunities for these coins are limited by their extraordinary value and the security requirements necessary to display them safely. But when they do appear at major numismatic shows, they create crowds of collectors who may never again have the opportunity to see such specimens in person. The legacy of the 1987 Lincoln cent error extends beyond numismatics into the broader world of collecting, where it serves as the ultimate example of how attention to detail, knowledge, and persistence can literally pay off in ways that transform lives and create generational wealth from the most ordinary circumstances. And as our incredible journey through the most valuable pennies in existence comes to an end, remember that these coins represent more than just monetary value. They are proof that extraordinary treasures hide in the most ordinary places, waiting for someone with the knowledge and persistence to recognize their incredible worth and transform a moment of discovery into a lifetime of financial security. So the next time you handle a penny, take a moment to really look at it, because you might just be holding the key to your dreams without even realizing it.